In a dramatic turn of events, President Cyril Ramaphosa has declared a state of economic emergency in South Africa, signaling the gravity of the challenges the country currently faces. In a televised address to the nation, Ramaphosa emphasized that the decision was prompted by a convergence of crises, rising inflation, energy instability, and mounting public discontent. He urged calm, stressing that decisive action was necessary to safeguard the economy and prevent further deterioration in living standards. The announcement comes at a time when South Africa's energy sector, particularly Eskom, continues to be plagued by operational inefficiencies and labor unrest. Eskom employees, who have historically been vocal about their demands for better wages and working conditions, have escalated their campaign, threatening to disrupt power supply if their calls for higher salaries are not met. Sources within the utility indicate that negotiations have reached a critical impasse, with unions demanding a substantial increase in wages to match rising living costs and inflation rates. Economic analysts have described the timing of the emergency declaration as both urgent and politically delicate. The country is facing a perfect storm, says Dr. Thandi Makona, a senior economist at the University of Johannesburg. You have an energy sector under immense pressure, rising unemployment, and inflation eating into the average citizen's purchasing power. The government had to act to signal to investors and the public that it recognizes the severity of the situation. The Eskom wage dispute adds another layer of complexity. Union leaders have accused the government of neglecting frontline workers who maintain the national grid under challenging conditions. Our members are working tirelessly, often under dangerous circumstances, and yet their wages do not reflect the sacrifices they make daily, said a spokesperson from the National Union of Mine Workers, NUM, which represents a large portion of Eskom employees. The union has hinted at the possibility of rolling strikes if immediate negotiations do not result in tangible offers. Energy security, already fragile, is now under renewed threat. South Africa has suffered repeated load shedding over the past months, affecting industries, households, and essential services. Eskom's workforce is critical to mitigating these disruptions, and any protracted labor strike could intensify the economic emergency. Investors have responded nervously, with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange experiencing minor volatility following the announcement, reflecting uncertainty over the stability of both the energy sector and broader economy. Ramaphosa, in his address, outlined a series of measures aimed at stabilizing the economy. These include a temporary restructuring of certain state-owned enterprises, targeted fiscal stimulus to support small businesses, and fast-tracking key infrastructure projects to spur growth. He also urged Eskom management and unions to resume negotiations in earnest, emphasizing that dialogue must take precedence over industrial action for the sake of national stability. Public reaction to the economic emergency declaration has been mixed. While some citizens have expressed relief that the government is acknowledging the severity of the crisis, others are skeptical, viewing it as a political maneuver rather than a solution-driven approach. Social media platforms have been flooded with debates, highlighting frustrations over high living costs, unemployment, and the perceived inefficiency of state institutions. The intersection of Eskom labor unrest and the declared economic emergency presents a test of leadership for Ramaphosa. The government's response will need to balance fiscal responsibility with social equity, ensuring that essential services remain operational while also addressing the legitimate grievances of the workforce. Failure to achieve this balance could exacerbate economic instability and deepen public distrust in state institutions. As negotiations continue behind closed doors, all eyes remain on Eskom's board and union leaders, whose decisions over the coming days could either defuse the crisis or plunge South Africa into an even deeper economic and social turmoil. For now, the nation watches and waits, hoping that the combined efforts of government, labor, and industry can steer the country through one of its most challenging periods in recent history.